Welcome to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, where we talk all things good food, good business, and good cars. And now, here is your host, Arnold Gassita, founder and CEO of Petra Automotive Products. Let's roll.
Well, we got a great show today for you. We have Jeff Mastros here with us. As you know, when we started this podcast, I didn't want to do just business. I wanted to have fun with it and talk about favorite restaurants, favorite cars, favorite meals. Where we are at my favorite place in Houston. We're at Steak 48. This is where a lot of my clients have come with me here. It's my favorite to-go place, and we have the privilege of having Jeff Mastros with us. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're great. So listen, let's talk a little bit about how did you get in the restaurant business?
Well, it's been a long time, yeah. So we were originally from New Jersey, moved out when I was about 10 years old to Arizona. So we're from Arizona, basically.
So you go from cold weather to hot weather.
Yeah, and we love it out there. So been there for about 45 years, so that's home. And my dad did a bunch of things, and then my dad eventually got involved in the restaurant business. I went off to college and law school and did a bunch of stuff like that. Then I came back and joined my father and brother in the restaurant business. And one thing led to another. We did Mastros. We sold that about 15 years ago now. And now we have our Steak 48 brand, Ocean 48 brand. In Phoenix, it's called Steak 44 and Ocean 44. We're having a hell of a time now. Me and my brother are running things. I'm the CEO of the company. My brother's the president. He oversees all of construction and development, and we're just having a good time. It's great.
Who came up? So originally your first big restaurant was Mastros?
Yes, in North Scottsdale.
And who came up? Who said, okay, let's do this steakhouse. Let's do this.
Yeah, that was my dad back. We opened that in 1999. So we built about 7 of those, all in Arizona and California, and then we ended up selling them in May of 2007.
Wow.
And we had 7 Mastros, and now with this new brand, we just opened our 8th restaurant. We finally made it back to Beverly Hills. Our Beverly Hills Mastros was a great success for us, so opening up our 8th, surpassing our Mastros number, it was pretty exciting, and doing it in Beverly Hills. We just opened back in January.
So tell me the brands. So we got Steak 48, Steak 44.
Yeah.
What else?
And we have Ocean 44. When we sold Mastros, the first restaurant we opened, a little tribute to my grandfather, we opened in Scottsdale our first steakhouse out of Mastros called Dominic Steakhouse. So that's the last of the brand. So we have Dominic Steakhouse, then we did Steak 44, and then then we came here. So this was our 3rd one. And we called it Steak 48 when we came here. And then we opened up a few other Steak 48s. We have one in Philly and Charlotte and Chicago. And then we also did Ocean 44 in Scottsdale. And then we just opened Steak 48 in Beverly Hills, and we're going to open Steak 48 in Del Mar, right outside of San Diego. And then our second Ocean concept will be Ocean 48. We're opening that up by the end of the year in Newport Beach.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
You're going to do Oceans in Houston?
We're looking. We've been looking for a while. Yeah, we'd love to. Yes.
Yeah, we would love for you to have Oceans in here.
So would we. Just got to find the right location.
So I've been to a few of your restaurants. So I've been to the one in Chicago, obviously the one in Houston, and Steak 44 in Arizona.
Great.
I need to go to Dominic's.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about the concept, because all of your restaurants, not only is it phenomenal food and the service is incredible,
Thank you.
but the concept, the vibe and the feel of the place is great in all 3 that I've gone to, and I imagine all of them are the same. Who comes up with these concepts? Was this like intentional? Who comes up with this vibe?
Yes. Well, yeah, very intentional what we did. When we had Mastros, we had live music in the bar, and we got away from that. But our goal was, with this second go-around, was to do kind of get away from the dark wood and kind of backroom whiskey kind of stuff, and do something that's a little more warm, contemporary, and high energy. So, and we filled it with a lot of, as you can tell in this room, a lot of intimate spaces. We don't want one big room. We want all these different little rooms so you feel comfortable, just like you would in your house. So we built it that way. and built it, you know, a little just slightly more contemporary, warm contemporary, not cold contemporary, and people love it. So that's what we tried to do. And but every restaurant we open is slightly different. We're always trying to improve. So, like I mentioned, our Beverly Hills restaurant was our last one we did, and it's me and my brother got together and we wanted to take the best of our Ocean 44 and our Steak 48 brands with the building, and we kind of fused them together in a cool way. So that building just turned out phenomenal. It's going to be probably the prototype of what we'll build going forward.
That's Beverly Hills?
Yes.
And it's open now?
Yeah. Yep. We opened back in January.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So I got to visit
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
one.
You should see that one.
But tell me about Dominic, because that's kind of special
Dominic's,
too.
yeah.
Dominic.
Yeah.
That's special
Yeah,
too.
and that's a little more traditional. So because we built that right after, and we wanted a little tribute to my grandfather, my dad's father. It's also my middle son's name. So it's a neat place. It's a steakhouse. The menus are the same, but just a very different facility.
But doesn't it have like a pool?
Yeah, the second level. The second level has a little pool, and it has poolside dining tables all around it, and a retractable roof.
So you got a little stadium, a pool, the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's definitely a cool vibe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, people love it up there. It's great. And then, when the weather's nice, we'll open the roof while people are dining, and people a lot of times will clap and cheer.
That's a great restaurant, a great honor to your grandfather as well as your.
And he
son's
passed away early too. He's only about 57 years old. So, but it's nice having that.
That is your father still alive?
Oh yeah. Actually, we just celebrated his 80th birthday. He turned 80 on May 10th. So
That's fantastic.
That's terrific. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So how long again? Tell me, you've been in the restaurant business?
I've been doing this for about 30 years.
30 years. So when you started to now, like every industry, this has changed, right?
Yeah, big time.
What do you think is the biggest change 30 years ago to now?
Well, social media is one of the biggest ones, and and just the internet and reviews. When we first got started, you wouldn't, reviews were like the New York Times and or someone giving the restaurant a call. Now I wake up every morning and, we have a service that provides all the reviews, and you can go and read everything, and they're normally all terrific, but it's always those couple that will, drive you crazy. So, but yeah, that's a big thing that's changed, and restaurants have changed dramatically. I know the word foodie is used way too much, but I think society, people go out to dinner way more than they ever did. I mean, me and my wife talk all the time about, we weren't alive, but like in the 50s and 60s, going out to dinner was like,
it was a big event.
You do it maybe once, twice a year kind of thing. And now, I mean, we have people come, at our Ocean 44, we have a guy that's in there 3 or 4 times a week. So it's, that has changed dramatically. It's rare when you run across somebody who actually cooks. I mean, it's just people don't cook at home as much as they used to, which is great for us. So people are
good for the business.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing. It's just the norms of going out to eat. It's just so customary. Nobody's shocked that you might eat out 5 days a week.
I do think that's funny. That's changed. I know my wife, since my kids moved out of the house, she's always like, "I'm not cooking." Right? We're going out to eat.
Exactly. Yeah.
I gotta up my game because I only come here once a month, and I guess I gotta come every week to
do.
beat your Steak 44
Yes, you do.
guy.
Absolutely.
But it is people have changed in that sense. How has service changed? So is it still the same kind of service, or there's because of social media and this instant notification, the service change too?
I think at our level, I don't think service has changed that much, really. I think people still at this level, at this check average, are expecting very high level of service. So I really don't think that has changed a lot. And we do everything we can to provide the best service possible, and I think that's been going on forever. I think people have always expected it at this check average. So I don't see that as changing that much.
We came here not too long ago. I won't mention the name of the company, but a very, very good customer of ours that they left and told me best steakhouse I've ever been to.
Wow!
And they're not from Texas, just so you know. And the service was incredible. Chris, which we're going to interview later, which is your vice president,
Yep, oversees all our restaurants.
has always been phenomenal with us, and we met him here when he was here originally. But the service here, you couldn't drop a napkin if somebody wasn't immediately right there picking it up.
I appreciate that. We work very hard. So we're about to open our Del Mar store, so we're in the middle of. We just started our training, so we do about 6.5 weeks of training, and then before we open a store, and then we do ongoing training all the time. It's just you got to continuously do it. You can't just do it once. You got to continuously be training.
Which was one of the questions I was going to ask you, because in our industry, in the automotive industry, training is big. We got to constantly do training for many reasons, right?
Yeah.
Just keep the right experience in front of the person that's selling, but also because you always get continuous new people.
Yeah.
Who comes up with the training? Like, who says in the Steak 48, Steak 44s, all of our restaurants, this is the kind of service and experience we want to give our customers? Who comes up with that?
Well, that's something we came up with, over time when we had the Mastros, and it's just followed us. And what I've learned from my dad was how to operate. A restaurant of this level has to have the service. It's basically, my dad taught me, you do whatever you can to say yes, and that's our motto here. And then we constantly are fine-tuning. We're doing things, all the time. We're adding things to our service. I had a server once in one of our places. Actually, I was sitting right there at that table. He asked if he came over with a pepper grinder and asked if I wanted it coarse or fine. And that just blew me away. So now at all our places, I took that and ran with it, all our places. It's really cool, just a little thing. Some people like their pepper a little more coarse, or
right.
a little more fine. So we're constantly trying to improve what we do and add little things here and there. But yeah, it's just something that we work on. It's just and it's fun. And what's great at this check average is you have a higher check average, so you're able to do some more sophisticated things for the guest.
You said something it was do all you can to say yes. But we got to write that down in the caption, because that was good.
No, that's mine. Don't write that down.
No, it'll be under your name. It'll be under
Okay, well, that's fine. You can write it down. Jot it down.
Do everything you can to say yes is phenomenal, because we really feel that when we come to this restaurant. So you got a training course, you add to it, you change it as time goes by, and then you have a team that trains.
Yeah, we do. They're all in San Diego right now, so enjoying them. So San Diego in the summer, so it worked out
Not
well
bad,
for them.
not bad.
Yeah. So
how,
we have
how
a
long
team.
do they train before they open a store?
We're about 6 weeks. So we hire. We have about 5 to 6 weeks of a hiring camp, and then we move into our training, which is about 6 or 7 weeks.
So 6 weeks of kind of boot camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hardcore. And you don't get paid that much. Like our front of the house people that are tipped, they're not making tips yet. So we know if they stick with us through training, they really want to be there, which is nice.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So if I came in here today, so this Steak 48 in Houston is established, been here for a while, and if I was hired on today, what's the process?
Yeah, there'll be a whole couple weeks of training. You'd be following people on the floor. There's written tests. There's a whole program. It's very similar to when you started.
So 6 weeks of that.
Well, no, it's a little bit less because we can do it more
Hands-on.
Yeah. So with the store being open, and yeah.
And are there people that fail? Like they'll come in and they're following somebody, and there's a written test.
Yeah, because with a server, they have to do a certification dinner at the end after all their training, and if they don't pass, they can't be on the floor, and then we try to recertify them, and if you don't pass that time, then we just have to go separate ways. Yeah.
So to be a server here, you have to pass a test.
Oh yeah.
You have to train with people, and you get 2 shots.
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that because it's all about the customer experience, right?
Absolutely.
What would you say are the 3 most important things in your business? Like, you have to do these 3 things to be successful in the restaurant business.
Well, at the high level, it's always, it's food, service, and facility. I mean, that's what we do, and you try to hit it at all levels. There's a lot of restaurants out there. They you might get a chef that the only thing he focuses on is providing great food, and he doesn't really know how to operate the restaurant on the service side, so they forget about that, or they think, as long as I got the best the food in the world, who cares what the service is like, or who cares what the building looks like, or whatever. Me and my brother, we've always talked about, you need to hit on all cylinders. You need to have great food, great service, and a really comfortable facility. So
Food,
I think that's,
service, facility.
yeah, it seems fairly simple, but it's amazing how many places you go into that you can tell they're just not focusing on that. It's like a lot of times you go to a location, on the water, on the ocean, and you could tell they're relying on the ocean. That's what they're relying on, nothing else.
Just the view.
The view. The view will cover up all the other mistakes.
Which it doesn't.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It helps. It does help. So.
Yeah. In our industry, in the automotive industry, we always talk about the customer experience. I don't think anybody in any industry does that relate to more than the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
Because it's customer experience is the biggest thing, I guess, apart from food, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and even more so, obviously at different levels of restaurants, that's hits it right on the head at this level. The customer experience is everything. So.
I mean, and because I know when I come here, when I bring my clients here, I know the experience I'm going to get every single time. I'm not afraid. I'm not worried. I know we're going to wow my customers. You help me wow my customers. Good job.
We do our best. I appreciate that.
So we really enjoy that.
Great.
If somebody was starting out in the business today, if they said, you know what, I want to be in the restaurant business, what advice would you give them? Other than maybe run.
I would say, because I have, me and my brother have sons. We each have 3 sons. So we have a couple of them that are in the business, and the first thing you need to do is work in the business, and try to work in every department and really learn the business, and don't just learn food like I was talking about. Just don't learn food, or just don't learn. You got to learn the whole thing. It's
to work in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Be a server.
Exactly.
Be a bartender.
Yeah. Then you could develop. Then you really know. Be a bartender. You really know what it takes to have a full great restaurant. You need to know how everything works. Like I said before, a lot of people are out there that are they focus on this, and then they miss the other parts. It's a complicated business and a lot of moving parts, and you need to be pretty great on all of them.
So the advice is get in the business, floor level up.
Yep.
Learn every side of it. Then think about opening a restaurant.
That's what I did.
All right. What is your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Well, it sounds like I should say steak.
No, you don't have to say steak. Steak is one of the meals. But
actually, one of my favorite foods is Chinese food.
Really?
Yeah. Like me and my family, we always have Chinese on Sunday nights. So it's I just have great memories of Chinese food.
Is there a Chinese 48 one day?
No, not that. So we are working on Italian, but not. We're working on Italian 44 in Scottsdale.
That's good.
But no Chinese. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
We love Chinese food.
What's your favorite car?
Favorite car?
What is
your
favorite car?
I don't. That's a tough one. I do. I love Range Rovers and I love Ferraris. So yeah, I know. Me and my buddy, we keep talking about that Ferrari. I don't know. That Ferrari California. Then it turned into the Ferrari Portofino.
Right.
And now it's the Ferrari. I can't remember, but yeah.
Good Italian Ferrari.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat car.
Ferrari.
I've never had one, but someday, who knows?
Ferrari is probably one of the biggest picks of people that we've interviewed. You know, it is especially for a guy. It's like
it's classic.
It's classic, and you want the Ferrari.
Yeah.
There's a customer of ours that's right across the street here from your restaurant, and he. I think he's on his 3rd Ferrari, but he does the whole experience. Flies over, drives the vehicle before they put it on the boat.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
That's
the way to do it.
Again, customer experience, right? It's that customer experience that everybody wants to experience. Well, we're going to cut real quick. We're going to bring Chris in, talk a little bit to Chris, and go from there.
All right.
Well, we're back. We asked Chris to join us. Chris is the vice president of Jeff's organization, and actually was the first guy that I met at Steak 48 many years ago when he was the general manager. treated us like rock stars. We've never looked back. We continue to come back, but of course, he's left us. Now he's big shot corporate for Jeff, you know? He's now with the little people down here in the restaurant. You're big shot, you know?
Still me.
Always dressed nice. And,
Trying, brother. Got to put on the good face, you know?
So, Chris, how long have you been in the restaurant business?
Whoa.
I've been in the restaurant business since I was 17. Making pizzas was my first job, actually, working for Pepperoni's and then Domino's and then...
Pepperonis.
It's funny.
Great name.
Yeah, it was awesome. Learned how to toss dough. And
Did anybody ever call up and go, do you guys have pepperoni pizza?
Luckily, I just made them. I never had to take the phone calls because that was definitely the worst side of it, for sure. But then got into I was in the oil change business for a little while, working
Really?
for a quick car oil change place.
Sure.
You've heard of that place.
I do.
And then I was
Ray Ellis.
Yeah, there you go. And so then I turned 18 and I was able to actually, serve alcohol. And so that's when I got into the business.
So what was your first launch into the restaurant? What restaurant did you work for?
Papado.
Papados.
You know Papado?
I do.
Yeah. So worked for the Pappas family for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
2 different restaurants with them. And then went to do steakhouses. So it's been steakhouses ever since. Went to Perry's Steakhouse in Sugar Land. I live out there in Sugar Land.
Okay.
And fell in love with it. Obviously, going from Cajun seafood to steak, it was quite the step up from what I had been doing previously, and fell in love with it. Worked there for about 4 years and became a manager towards the middle of that tenure. So took on the very base level management position. That's where I fell in love with wine, started learning about wine and learning about, the whole fine dining
You have
experience.
made some great choices for wines for us throughout the years.
I've always tried. Try to figure out what you guys like and tailor fit it.
How do you stay, both of you guys, how do you stay so skinny working for a restaurant? I mean,
Yeah.
what's this, work out? Eat half of the steak?
Diet's important.
A little
For
bit
sure.
of both. Yeah, it's important.
I
Yeah.
heard you talking about salmon earlier. I actually eat a lot of fish. It's funny. I've been in the steak business for so long that it's like I love steak. And when I'm at home, like a treat for me and the wife, we'll do steak. But honestly, most of the time, it's fish or something healthy.
Well, I was telling
In
Jeff
that
that
way.
we brought a group here, and everybody's ordering steak, right? Because you're a Steak 48.
Yep.
And one guy, and normally not to make it sexist, but usually, there may be a woman or your wife that orders fish. But this was one of the guys, and at the end of the table, and he orders salmon, and we're all looking at him like, "What are you doing, man? Come on, we're not in Papados, we're in Steak 48."
Yeah, no doubt. That's what I love, honestly, is we have so much great seafood here. And so I indulge in that most of the time.
That's good.
At this point, if it's not like a perfect New York strip, then I'm hitting up some seafood.
So how do you guys pick food? I mean, now that you're talking about indulging in this food, how do you decide what goes on the menu?
Yeah, well, we did our base menu a long time ago. Our beef, obviously, is so important. So we only get our beef from these 2 farms in Michigan and Ohio, and it's the same cows, same type of meat, no matter what. Prices go up and down, and we never change what we do. So it's really important. And then and I was talking about earlier, we don't have an R&D chef now, but we have an R&D chef that will help us, change around our menu, come up with new, really cool items. And so we're constantly, innovating. We change our menu, we take things on and off. We add, a few, like Wagyu has exploded, so we have a lot more Wagyu on our menu. We're all constantly looking at what's going on out there and what we think our guests are really going to enjoy.
Looking at the market's huge. Seeing what's out there, seeing what new cool trends are happening.
Yeah.
Seeing what others are doing, but then also put your own spin on it, which I think we've done a really good job of.
Oliver, right?
Yes.
So we were just talking to Oliver, who's your
CMO.
CMO.
Marketing.
And he said something that was phenomenal, which we say it in the automotive business. Actually, we preach it. I'm not saying everybody does it. If you're not changing, you're losing.
Yep.
Are you guys always thinking, what's next? What are we going to add to the menu? What do we need to change?
And the facility too, the building. I mean, we're constantly looking at everything, and service, like we were talking about earlier. Yes, absolutely.
Building, food,
that's what
service.
happens. Yeah, it's constantly moving. Yeah.
Service, I find it's, you get to a certain level and you kind of think maybe you got there, you made it. As soon as you adopt that philosophy or you start thinking that way, you're sliding back downwards.
You lose it.
It's an always uphill battle, and as soon as you're like, oh, I got there, You have not gotten there.
Right.
There's somebody else trying to get there too.
Right,
And so
right.
you have to always be scraping for the top, always trying harder. So
That's why we
what
go.
we think about.
That's why we go. We see a lot of restaurants. When Chris are on the road, we'll try to pop into other places. You got to see what other people are doing. I mean, that's how you learn. So
You can't just think that you got it all figured out. You have to be humble enough to know that there's a lot of great operators out there, and we can learn from everybody all over the world. So
How often do you change your menu?
no. Well, we
Tweak the
constantly.
menu.
Yeah. We tweak our menu. We never. Yeah, but the base menu stays the same.
Right.
Yeah, but we're
'Cause that's
always
what-
taking. We'll take a couple things off here and there, and we do hand salad we call them. It's not on the menu. Well, we might have a special fish on certain evenings and items like that. A special appetizer. We do that pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tweaks happen a lot, but like a core change would be extremely rare.
But people, and by the way, we have a lot of, when we change things, like we just changed one of our salads around. We hear
It's a
about
big deal.
Even though we think it's a great salad and better, but you'll get people that have been coming here for 6 years and say, hey, what happened to that salad? So,
Just changing a dressing or a style of preparation, it's a big risk to change.
at our
anything like
Dominic
that.
Steakhouse, we changed here our French fry. We have this kind of fun French fry container. It looks like a McDonald's French fry container, but it's
Yeah, yeah.
porcelain.
Yeah,
That's what we
I
do here. But at our Dominic's, our French fries had always been served in this big bowl. So we thought, hey, why don't we do them in this cute little French fry container? Oh my God, it was like the end of the world.
It was a
Where's
big,
the
too big of a
bowl?
change. too
Yeah,
big of a
exactly.
change.
They couldn't take. What are you doing to us? So,
So you listen to the customer.
oh, yeah,
You have to.
Customer's always right.
Yeah. You listen to the
Yeah,
customer.
absolutely.
So you said you now have an R&D chef. So he's working at corporate?
We had one for a while. Now we're looking for a new one. So that's what. Yeah, and he'll work out of Arizona, and works at one of our stores. And
And his job is just creation.
yeah, and then we come up with some. We'll see things. Me and my brother might see things, or our head chef might see something. We'll send it to him. Say, hey, we saw this great thing. Can you do a version of it? Or we'll go on the road and we'll take them to these. Hey, I was just at this great restaurant in Pittsburgh or something. You got to try this. So I take them there and we try to see if we can do our take on it. But we're really high volume restaurants, so that'll you got to be able to make it for you're not making food for 20 people. You're making food for 700 people. So
All your
it makes it harder for him to figure out how to do that so they can get it out.
Yeah, it's got to be an element you can kind of turn quickly
It needs to be well suited for moving
for
quick.
high volume.
Exactly.
How many people do you serve in all your restaurants every day?
It depends on the day, obviously. Mondays
Or
are
on
slower
average,
than you're doing 500 to 600 people per restaurant per day. So yeah.
It's quite
So 5,000 people more or less a day on average?
Yeah.
On your
man,
eight
almost.
restaurants?
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Once we get to
that.
10 restaurants, that's what. Exactly.
That's
So,
big.
Yeah.
we don't think about that very often. Just
No.
thinking how many people we're actually serving, but it's true. It is a lot of people.
It's a
When
lot
you
of
put
people
it that way.
in all the restaurants every
Yeah.
day, day after day on average. That's a big number.
It is.
So this R&D chef kind of gives some ideas. If you guys accept that, then the chefs at the restaurants are trained on that. They
Absolutely.
kinda
He'll go to each store and roll it out.
okay, so you roll it
that's
one
what
by
he
one.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do tasting. So whatever, it's a very complicated thing. And we go and so finally, we might do 3, 4, 5 tastings to get to a product that we love. And then finally, if we get there, hey, this is perfect. Because it's the food, it's how it tastes, it's the presentation, which is huge, it's the whole thing. So it takes a while for it to get to where we want it to be.
On one side, we like to move really
It's
fast.
not just add more salt.
It's definitely not. We wish it was that easy. On one side, we move really quickly with decisions, like change the menu, put this thing on there, remove a glass that we can't, source anymore. But when it comes to food, it's definitely lengthy. 3-4 months from idea to inception. Pretty tough. So
I like that though because it's methodical, right? So slowly, making sure that everything's right. Chris, when you hire people, what are you looking for?
first and foremost, hiring people is probably the hardest thing that we do. Hiring the right people. We've gone back and forth on this many times, and we interview. I interview mostly general managers at this point and beverage managers, And so just trying to find the right person, you have to find somebody that fits with what you do. There's a lot of people that want to be in the restaurant business, and they want to be in our business. We're pretty busy. We have a relatively great reputation, so people are convinced that they want to do what we do. But we are striving really hard. Like I said before, we're always striving to be better, to be better, to be better. And it's really tough to do that, and it's not for everyone. It's a hard business. As you know, to be successful, you have to actually really go out there and kick some butt.
And work.
Yeah, and put some work in. And so we find that finding people that are willing to put the work in can be really difficult.
So when you're interviewing these people, let's say at the store level, what are a couple of things that you're looking for?
You know, we talk about culture a lot, and we talk about them fitting in with our culture and the way that we operate, caring about people, like truly, like you have to actually want to take care of people. We're in the service business. We serve, right? So you have to be passionate about that and wanting to help people and give them what they need. So that's first and foremost. Hey, do you like to serve people? Are you passionate about taking care of other people? That's the first thing. And then having a real knack for excellence and wanting to be the best at what you do. I think if you can get those two things, we can almost accomplish anything together.
You want to serve and you got to have a drive.
Exactly.
Jeff, do you think that throughout the years it's changed the I don't want to say the quality, but maybe the character or the will of people have changed, and it's harder to find people today that have that drive and that attitude of serving, or do you think it's the same?
No, I think it's definitely harder. You know, these some younger people just sometimes they don't want to put in the time. You know, because like in our business, you got to come in like I did, like Chris did. You start from the bottom and move your way up. You know, you talk
Got to pay a price.
Telling these people, and we get people apply. They've never even been a manager anywhere. Not even, and they're applying for our GM position. I mean, you get these people just think they can come in. They don't understand where you got to. Yeah, I think it's not understanding that you really need to put in the time and the years. And when I say years with these people, it scares them to death.
Right.
What do you mean years? I want to be a GM of this place Tuesday. Yeah, so
I want to do come Chris's job.
Yeah.
Chris has been in here since he was 17 doing this business.
Yeah,
and you want
exactly.
Chris's jobs tomorrow.
I know.
And I think that's universal in all businesses, because everybody that we interview, wherever we go, and even in my company, the finding people that want to work their butts off and pay the price is getting harder to find. When you find it, it's great, but it is getting harder to find. I think there is a little, I don't know if generational thing or what, but there is a different drive today than there was a few years ago, much less 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, when I started in this business, I was in a Aerostar van. You remember those? Ford Aerostar vans?
Absolutely.
With equipment, knocking on doors, knocking on dealers, trying to sell them stuff, right? That's how I started in this business. I had to pay a price. I didn't know this business, so I had to learn this business. And that's what you did. And then you moved up little by little to the next thing. You started in a pizza place.
That's it.
Right? Yep. And then you worked your way up. You didn't wake up one day and you were Jeff's right-hand man, You worked your way there.
Hilarious story. I actually came up, and after I had been at Papado's for 4 years thinking I was kind of pretty good at this thing, I went to try to go apply for a steakhouse. Papa's Steakhouse, actually. I've been chasing Papa's Steakhouse for big part of my career, trying to be as good as they are. And I went in, filled out an application, and they just kind of shooed me away. I was very uninterested in me being there. So it's been fun to chase that down. But yeah, you got to have the experience.
You got to have the experience. You got to have the drive. It's so important to do that. We got somebody coming in here.
We got some food. Awesome. How are you, sir?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
How are you?
You want to come around this way.
That was one of our R&D chefs came up with that. That's our chicken fried lobster right there. It's a great item.
So we had that with the guest that I told you that we came the other day. That was delicious.
Good.
Rock shrimp mac and cheese right here.
Thank you.
Pork belly right here.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
You're very welcome.
And this is beautiful, and so much more beauty when you come here and order the steak, and the steak comes out sizzling.
Oh yeah. 500-degree plates.
It's absolutely delicious. Chris, what do we have here? Tell us a little bit about what we have here.
Yeah, definitely. Like Jeff said, this is a chicken fried lobster. Basically, it's pretty awesome take on, chicken fried steak. Kind of that crust, that delicious, crunchy, like really flavorful crust with the green Tabasco aioli. Really just makes the dish pop. And then in the middle, you've got the Alaskan king crab and rock shrimp, macaroni and cheese. Kind of do the Marist piece of the king crab across the top, and then with the little delicious rock shrimp in there. And then just our pork belly appetizer over sauteed spinach with the sweet chili glaze. A couple of just
very
super popular items. Yeah.
I know. I was going to say that's very popular,
Yeah.
especially when we come here. Hey, so of all the places you've traveled, what's your favorite place?
I heard Jeff, he mentioned Florence earlier. That's actually where I got engaged, so I won't take Florence. But I do love Florence. It's probably my wife's favorite place, but I think Switzerland was my favorite place that I've ever visited. We went there on our honeymoon and spent about 4 days in this small lake village. And
The countryside of Switzerland.
It was pretty magical, I'm not going to lie to you. Just walking everywhere, public transportation was fantastic. Everybody was super kind, and it was just picturesque. It was perfect. So it's one of my favorite places.
It is. It's beautiful. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I think it's pizza, to be honest with you. Just in general.
Goes back to your early days.
That pepperoni. The
It
pepperoni
does.
stuck with you
Here's the thing.
all these years.
When we went
By the way, is
to,
pepperoni still open?
they are.
Oh, they are.
I
That's
did.
great.
I had it like 2 weekends
Did you
ago.
really?
It was delicious. Yep. The New Yorker.
That's funny.
Extra pepperoni, extra sauce, extra cheese.
Extra grease.
Very good for you. But I think pizza, and like more of a Italian style pizza. Like if you were to go to Florence, for example, there's
Totally
this place called Gusta Pizza there. It's like
Chris sent me there when I was there, so we went there. I
like
sent a bunch of pictures. It
the
was great.
best pizza place in the
It
world.
really was.
So if you ever
Yeah.
have a chance to get out there,
Gustos.
Gusta
Okay.
Pizza, exactly. Check that out. It's a great
We'll do it. What's your favorite car? Dream car, favorite car?
dream car, favorite car. It changes a lot. I love cars. It's probably one of my favorite things in the world. I think right now, if I could get any vehicle that's available, I'd probably one of two, either a Koenigsegg or a Rimac. If you're familiar with Rimac
Yeah,
Navara,
for sure.
the newest model they have out right now. I love tech, so it's kind of.
I'm sitting here highly impressed.
Oh yeah,
Those are the cars you picked.
Me too.
they're two unobtainable cars for me. So like $4 million
Hey,
cars.
you never
so
know. You
one
never
day,
know.
maybe.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Well, look, we appreciate you guys letting us come in here and do this. It's
Thank
an
you.
honor for us. Again, it's about food and business, and this is where I do a lot of business and a lot of food eating. So we appreciate you guys. Chris,
Thank you.
thanks for letting us be here.
Absolute pleasure.
Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you
us.
guys. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate
Cheers.
you joining us.
Thank you.
So more food.
Indeed.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Wheels, Deals, and Meals, your main source for all things good and fun, business, food, and cars. If you like this episode, make sure to rate us and subscribe. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please leave a message at the link below. Till next time, happy eating!